The other thing, the automatic start-stop is pretty aggressive.
It's where the engine turns off in stop-and-go traffic. I notice it hasn't done it to us on this trip.
It's because I've already turned it off.
It's the first thing you do when you get in, huh?
On almost every vehicle.
Yeah. Hey, Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Holly.
Back there's Tucker.
Yep, that's me.
And you have put nearly 1,000 miles on this vehicle, and I'm very anxious to figure out how this 2025 Nissan Sentra SR has fit our family of three minus one.
Me and Tucker have put a lot of miles on this car. I am one with this car at this point.
And all of that and more coming up. Stay tuned. All right, Holly. You have put a lot of miles on this.
Yes.
As of this recording, I haven't even done my video on it yet because I'm going to learn from you on this car. I'm looking at 937.6 miles. You've taken this to West Texas and back.
Yeah.
But let's stick to our normal formula.
Okay.
What do you think of the exterior style of this 25 Sentra SR?
Well, I really like the color, and I think it's a little bit... Of course, it's like a gray blue color, but it does have a little bit of a different tint to it than your regular one. So I like that. I like that it's a different color. I like colors. I like different colors other than gray, black, red, white. Boring.
Yeah.
So this is a fun color. I like the styling too, although I wouldn't say that there's anything necessarily particular that just makes it stand out on the road other than the color. It's a sedan. It's a nice sedan.
It's got that little
nice.
design line back behind the door there. That black line. You can get a black roof on the Midnight Edition.
Oh, fine.
So.
Well, and you've got the black accents of the mirrors and stuff like that. So it looks different enough that people were like, what are you driving? Today.
Got some style to it.
Yeah, it's got some style to it. I think the styling on the outside has a mass appeal to it.
I would agree.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the inside? Because you've been in here for a very long time.
Very long time. Well, I'll say the first thing that is noticeable when you've been in the car, because, I mean, I didn't just drive a lot of miles in it. I was sitting in the same spot for hours on this road trip. And so the first thing that you notice in a car is how comfortable the seats are, and these are comfortable.
They are Nissan's zero gravity seats.
What does that mean?
It's inspired by NASA, and it's.
I was going to say it sounds like a spaceship.
It's supposed to be super comfortable.
They are, and I, in my 40s, with back issues, as we all have.
Yeah.
And most car seats make my back hurt. And this one did not.
Yeah.
So that's good. And
huge win to the zero gravity.
Huge win to the zero gravity. There's good lumbar support. I like the seat.
Okay, so your seat is a power seat. That is optional. Mine is completely manual. So you do have 2-way lumbar. You have 6-way power seat. But I have a completely manual seat over here, which I'm not complaining, just kind of level setting things a little bit. I know we don't always go into that level of detail, but this seat's still very comfortable. I mean, the seat itself is also zero gravity.
Yes. Other than that, I mean, the styling is nice, but nothing too crazy. There's not a lot of gloss black.
Yeah.
And we don't like, so there's some right here, but that's about it. You've got a different texture right here, which is nice. Yeah. And then the different colored stitching does break up all the black a little bit. But I would say just normal in here. Stop that.
Yeah, I saw it up here. There's some fun differentiation in here. It kind of carbon fiber look, plastic here and here. But yeah.
It's nice. I'm interested to know the price, which I don't know, because there's not 2-person memory. There's not a head-up display.
What has the storage been like in here?
It's been adequate.
Okay. It's not where I thought you were going with it, but okay.
I wouldn't say what you thought I'd say. Not existent.
I mean, Yeah, that's
Oh,
it's
no.
been adequate.
It's been adequate. Well, I wouldn't say there's an overwhelmingly. Well, okay, you can always get on my good side with storage if there's a place for my lipstick and my makeup. And there is right here. This little cubby right here. I know it's not in there right now, but
yeah.
I love it. I've also set my phone in that little cubby, although it's not the best place, but I put my phone there. There is the charging port place up here that you can put your phone.
It's
not a charging.
Yeah. But
It's wired, but there is a space. I mean, look, right now we've got our phone. We've got that. That's cool. I also had it in the cup holders. Couple cup holders here.
Mm-hmm.
This
is rubber.
This is nice and deep, which I like. No shelf. But again, that's another thing where I'm like, I wonder what the price is on here. But then you also have your cup holder over here. So on my very, very long road trip, I had plenty of spaces for stuff.
Got a little bit of storage here in the glove box. No storage on the sides of the center console or anything like that.
No.
But,
I mean, this is even big enough that I put my purse in there. Yeah. But I have a small, but I'd say medium crossbody bag that fit in there. Now my big computer bag I had to set on the seat here or there in the floor, which isn't the bestest, but it is what it is.
Tucker, what have been your thoughts on the car since you've been riding back there? Do you have a lot of room? Are you
Yes, I have. Well, no, not very much room.
But you're comfortable?
Yeah, and I really like the red stitching.
Yeah, it's actually orange. Orange is a color that Nissan likes to use.
Orange red.
Yeah.
Red orange.
Kind of a lava orange. Mm-hmm. We had that Pro 4X Frontier that Tucker, I still remember him saying he loves the lava orange stitching, which, lava orange.
There you go.
So, you've got decent room back there.
Yes. And as you can see, I have some cup holders. And I just finished the snack before we started this review.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So, very comfortable situation back there for you.
Yes.
What do you think we need to talk about next?
Putting in my child safety seat.
And then we'll talk about some storage in the trunk. All right, Gearheads, a little POV install of Tucker's child safety seat, but I do want to show you some of the amenities back here in the back as well. So we'll go ahead and climb in behind where I was riding earlier in the video. And you can see sitting behind myself, I've got a decent amount of room. I do have a map pocket back here, though the driver's seat does not. I don't have any air vents on the back of the center console, but I do have a single USB-A power point. Also have a center tunnel here, so if you had someone riding in the middle, they're not going to have the most leg room. And then, as Tucker has pointed out, we do have a fold-down center armrest with 2 cup holders, though no rubber grippers. It does stay in a nice position. It doesn't flop all the way down, so I do like that. But plenty of room back here. I do like the textured plastics and the orange stitching, so it is rather nice back here. You'll have to go watch my solo review to see exactly how much headroom I have back here, but sitting upright, as I should if I had proper posture, my 5'10" head is touching the ceiling. But for Tucker, I think it has worked quite well. You can see he's got his Lego and stuff in his Graco Extend-A-Fit child safety seat. This is the same seat he rode in when he was rearward facing, and that's where we're going to start this conversation, is how much room do we have? And I'm actually quite impressed right there. I'm going to have to move the front seat forward a smidge, which, as I already mentioned, these are manual passenger seats here in the Sentra. But yeah, I've got a decent amount of room, even pulling the seat forward just a skosh for him to have enough space in a rear-facing car seat. So very impressive right there. We'll go ahead and turn this around, pop that back up. I will note before we put the child seat all the way back, we have lowered latch points on both outboard seats. Nothing in the center, and you can see it is just between the backrest and the seat. Also, these headrests are fixed in place, so you can see after just 1 week what having that top tether has done to the headrest. And we'll go ahead and show you right here, kind of if you can see through the glare of the back window, that is where the top tether actually is. We'll go ahead and throw that back there first as we scoot the car seat into place. I'll give myself a little bit of slack. These lower latch points are fairly easy to get to, and there's enough room inside the Sentra to maneuver and adjust accordingly. And then we'll go ahead and we will tighten that down. Scoot this in, tighten it down, nice and snug. And then I'm gonna just look through the back window here and tighten this top tether down. Though I will say, I already showed you just how that left an indentation on the headrests. This is better than my 2013 Chevy Cruze with its adjustable rear headrest, because trying to maneuver and do everything in the back window of that one, very difficult. As far as a sedan goes, this is a pretty good install, and it was pretty easy to remove as well. My only complaint is it makes a lot of noise running around. I don't know if it's the synthetic leather seating surfaces or this headrest, but it makes more noise than we have traditionally had in these vehicles for a full week. Coming to the back and opening up the trunk, massive trunk, 13.9 cubic feet of space, which is very competitive in the segment. And I like just how usable it is. You can see it is very wide and boxy, so it is a very usable 13.9 cubic feet of space. We do have a 60-40 split seat back there, but you have to do that from inside the vehicle. And you can see I've already made that null and void on the 60% because Tucker's car seat is stuck in place right now. But to fold those down, you can see we've got this little latch right there. Pull it and we can have additional space back there. Just watch out for your seatbelt. I will also say the hinges do impede cargo space a little bit, so that's something to be considerate of. And then we have a temporary use spare and your jack here underneath. Otherwise, fairly nice, fairly usable. I just wish Nissan gave us something to close the trunk lid with, so that I'm not putting fingerprints back here, getting all that road grime on the back of my hand. All right, Holly. He's got enough room back there. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, the only reason his leg space is a little bit less is because of the car seat.
Yep.
So.
Yep. If he were in a booster, which, I mean, he could be at this point, but let's face it, a 5-point racing harness is much safer. He would have more room.
I don't think they call it a racing harness in a car seat.
I call it a racing harness.
Okay.
It's how I justify to him that it's safer.
That's true.
That's what race car drivers
That is what race car drivers do.
But then trunk space. You went on trip. You loaded luggage back there. 13.9 cubic feet of trunk space, I do believe. Good overall space.
Yeah, we had plenty of room for, of course, we had like 2 carry-on size bags, but my computer bag, some groceries, plenty of space back there. It goes deep.
All right, so decent enough space. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. My daily driver that I've owned for 13 years now. Same size class as this.
Okay.
Some things about this feel roomier, some things feel more cramped. Like, I don't know, it's just the placement of things. Like, I feel like I'm always looking around the rearview mirror. But how does visibility and such feel in here for you?
The only problem, well, visibility has been mostly good. It is like, there are some blind spots.
But you have blind spot monitoring.
But you do have blind spot monitoring, yes, and that's helpful. The other thing is there is no back window windshield wiper. And you need it because the water does not come off. This morning it was very foggy and it was just condensation all over the car, and I drove, and this is not a camera, so I drove all the way to his class with no visibility out the back window because I wasn't going fast enough that it... No, it's condensation. Does that work with condensation?
Rear defogger, I figure what's it hurt for the most part? It does help out with it.
With the water? Okay. Well, I didn't know that, and I didn't try it. The other thing, the automatic start-stop is pretty aggressive.
It's where the engine turns off in stop-and-go traffic. I notice Hasn't done it to us on this trip.
Because I've already turned it off.
It's the first thing you do when you get in, huh?
On almost every vehicle.
Yeah.
The other thing on the long road trip that I noticed, and again, technology hates me, period. But I
can vouch for that.
I was having some issues with the Apple CarPlay. It is only plug-in.
Yeah.
There's no wireless Apple CarPlay, which is fine. But you would think that would mean
it works.
The connection is there all the time. But no, I'd have random times that it would just like cut out.
Well, while we are turning on the historic brick streets, we'll pivot the conversation. Pivot! And talk about ride and handling. Tucker, how's your wobbly head back there?
It's smooth.
Yep, here are the bumps.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Holly, what are your thoughts?
Let's do the big one.
Ooh, that sounded bad.
It wasn't as bad as it sounded, but it still wasn't super smooth. It's not the smoothest we've had either.
No.
Neither is the brick streets.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised when I was doing my note taking on this vehicle just how thin, how narrow the tires are. There's not a lot of rubber on road. The contact patch is kind of small, so I think that plays into it a little bit. They're 18-inch wheels and tires, but they're kind of on the narrow side, 215s.
It really doesn't knock you around like you're getting beat up.
Yeah.
Like a big SUV.
So yeah, the ride's not too bad. How has the power delivery been?
I would say average.
Yeah.
Not impressive, but I mean, you can get up and go on the highway decently.
I'm very interested in your thoughts on the whole acceleration process, because this has what most gearheads hate, a continuously variable transmission. So it doesn't like shift on you. Think of it as continuously variable. So it always keeps you in the power band. So if you floor it, it should just go, because it's keeping the engine where the power is. But you say it sounds like there's some times where you're like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some times where I'm like, come on, let's go. I have been. And then what's this L?
That is low range. So if you're like going through the mountains, you want to keep it intentionally in a particular part of the power band, that would do it.
Well, I feel like it needs to be in a different place. Because the single most thing that's gotten on my nerves about driving this is that the gear shift does not directly line up with the letters. So and of course when you're doing drive, you always want to go all the way back. But even if I'm like, okay, don't go all the way back because that's L, whatever that is, you got to go to D. And I'm like constantly like having to do that. Same with reverse. I would be going into N. They don't line up.
Well, you do get a digital representation up there.
Yes, and of course, driving. If this was your daily driver, you would get used to that, of course. But it's been a really annoying thing to get used to.
A few other things. If we come to a stop up here, we were talking about visibility earlier. This does have 360 cameras on it, which I'm kind of surprised in this competitive class. Full 360 cameras. Of course, they don't work when you're driving because the Nissan lawyers, but we are coming to a stop. So we'll see that. They're good. They're not great. They're not super crisp, but they get the job done, we'll say. Very clear to see all the way around you. And you do have trajectory, both front and rear, so if you're backing up, which is nice. But yeah, a little on the grainy side, a little early 2000s video quality there. Early YouTube
it's
video.
Better than that. It's better than that.
Let's see. Dual zone climate control, which is nice. Don't typically get that in this class.
But you don't have ventilated seats. You have heated seats.
Heated seats.
The heated steering wheel.
Yeah. What are some other things? We talked about wired CarPlay. We have a USB-C port, actually, and a USB-A. So
I do like that there are buttons for
physical buttons.
Yeah. For the
We
controls.
normally do the window sticker by now.
Tucker's keeping us on task.
Our producer.
Are there any other things before we talk fuel economy and window sticker?
That's it.
All right.
Fuel economy and window sticker.
In your nearly 1,000 miles of driving, it looks as though you're averaging a 36.2, which is mostly highway, but not entirely highway. The EPA rates us at 30 city, 38 highway, 33 combined. I'd say you're right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And have you even hit that green eco button over your left knee?
No, I haven't.
So you haven't even needed to be in eco mode to get pretty good returns.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
The fuel economy.
Yeah, and most of my highway miles were at high speeds.
At Texas highway speeds. That's the way
Texas,
I always-
West Texas highway speeds.
If you know, you know, right? But yeah. So, a size vehicle that we are very used to here, because my Chevy Cruze, same size, but a lot of luxuries. We've got real leather, fake leather.
Fake.
Yep. Fake leather seats, like you said, heated. We've got dual zone climate, really good fuel economy. And Tucker's going to bring us into the price. It is that dark black number down at the bottom. You see it?
Yep.
All right, Holly. Compact sedan.
37.
Too high.
Ooh, 35.
Still too high.
Really? 32.
Still
Too high. 29.
What's the
That's
number,
as low as
T-Man?
I'm going.
29.635.
$29,635 for essentially a loaded Sentra.
Worth it.
Yeah?
Buy it.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. What sold me are these seats.
Yeah.
And at 29, below 30,000,
Sold.
buy it. Sold.
She's convinced. Well, I don't need to do a lot of poking and prodding after that. If you want to see more from us, see some behind the scenes from her, she posted videos on this before this ever made it to YouTube. You can go find her on Facebook and Instagram at Female Consumer. You can find all things GT Garage Talk at GT Garage Talk, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it, at GT Garage Talk. Or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for us, now loaded 2025 Nissan Sentra SR. Till next time, gearheads.
Bye.
Bye.